I don't need to be repaired.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday, the first show of 2026 in the Riv.
That's for sure.
James,
It's
good to see you guys. Happy New Year to everybody. And I guess we're going to start. There's not much to talk about locally, but I guess we will shortly. But CJ, they changed the time of the inauguration to already placate some people, right?
of course. And you know, we go through this shit every year when the city council sits down for the first time in the year, and Linda Pereira goes, "I'm going to be on vacation that week. Move the city council meeting." You're a city council. You were elected. You know the schedule of the meetings. Put your vacation according to the schedule of the meetings, not according to what's convenient. This is ridiculous. Okay? You moved the inauguration from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. 4:30. Call me a liar.
Yeah.
To accommodate people's schedule of work. Guess what? Too bad.
Yeah.
You were elected to office. You can't fulfill your duty. Resign.
Listen.
Resign. Or get sworn in by the city clerk in a ostentatious way.
Oh, my God. No camera on them?
No camera. Exactly.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Jeff. You're a little late. But, yeah, no, you're right. Listen, they know when the council meetings are scheduled. That schedule is there.
That's right.
I mean, when I was on a department, I had to pick my vacations a year in advance. And I had to work them around other things that I had to do, and I had to pick them. And if I had to change it, it was like a major project, because you can't expect people to listen. You run for public office, you're supposed to show up. Oh, wait a minute. You only have to show up when you're trying to screw the taxpayers, right?
That's right.
So Brad Kilby and Ricky Teeth can skip the meetings after they didn't get reelected. But when it came down to that last meeting, Joe Camara and the rest of the crew are going to let them walk in and not object to them voting to screw the taxpayers. So we
That's
can't
right.
do another thing. This is what the problem is. You know, this is all they do on every level of government, is accommodate their lazy asses while they get rich and rape the taxpayer. You know, I just got my tax bill, so I'm already.
I got mine today too.
I just got mine today, so I'm already pissed off, and that's only it's not going to be the final bill. But I'm telling you, this is nuts. It's just, these people they feel entitled. Yeah,
People
well,
are still on a holiday vacation.
You're lucky. Listen, nobody shows up anywhere. Listen, and like you said, the thing that gets me is that's like an every year recurrence. Change the meeting on vacation. Well, somebody should say, well, change your vacation. Of course. Of course. And that's probably, I think you might have hit it right on the head. Both of those guys have got, he doesn't want to leave Espiritu Santo school.
That's right.
And the other guy doesn't want to leave his job. Well, you got elected. You got to say, well, I need a little bit of time off to go get sworn in. How long does, no, but they have to stay there, kiss each other's ass, and stay there in front of a camera for as long as possible. Like you said, you can't take the time off. City council meetings and school committee meetings are at night. Okay, you can't, you don't work at night. So you say, okay, I can't make the stuff during something like this, which is ceremonial, by the way, as you said, CJ, at the beginning of the show. You can go down to City Hall, stick your hand up, get sworn in. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Cheryl. You're right. They should get them.
I agree, Cheryl. No question about it. No question about it. And I'm a firm believer in if they don't show up, okay, after 3 meetings, censure them. After 5 meetings, kick them off the council, kick them off the school committee, kick them out as mayor.
Well, I don't know about you. I don't know where you work, but if you didn't show up for work for a day you were scheduled to work, and if you weren't on an authorized leave like sick leave or freaking vacation,
no call, no show.
You're not going to get paid, and you might even get fired if you do it a couple times.
That's right.
But no, you're right. No, you're right. They should be docked. Matter of fact, that might be a resolution that we get. I wonder if we can get one of the new councils put that in. You miss a meeting, you get docked. That's a good, very, very good point. You know, that's true. You know, you don't show up for work in most places, you don't get paid.
You don't get paid. That's right.
You don't get paid. You know, I mean, unless you're on an authorized day off, like, you know, if you got personal days or if you're out on sick leave and stuff like that, okay, they got to pay you. But you just don't show up. It's crazy. Well, Gene, you're right. Gene's got a progressive discipline plan. I like that. That's the exact progressive discipline plan.
That's right.
It's in a Boston firefighters disciplinary freaking handbook. First time it's verbal warning, written warning, then 3-day suspension, and then after that, well, of course, I mean, obviously there are exceptions to that rule. You don't get a verbal warning or a written warning if you murdered somebody in a workplace. You're probably going to get arrested and fired because you killed somebody. But I mean, with normal stuff, this is I mean, the whole thing. I just can't wait. Somebody's saying we can talk about local stuff. There's not a lot to talk about except to rehash it. But we're going to have plenty to talk about very soon because I know the stage is talking about water rate increases. Let's see what these new councilors. Well, I know Chris will stand up for the people. But let's see what they do because they've taken away our ability to control spending in any way, shape, or form, even though they always got around it by doing illegal shit and breaking it up into pieces. But let's see what these people do because this is going to be a bad year. Excuse me. Because we've got a lot of bills staring down the barrel of now, and Diamond's still out there. Remember that. Everybody forgot. We got Diamond. We've got all these contracts that what did they say? Oh, we're looking at investments down the road. Chris, if you're watching today, I want one of the first questions you ask during a budget hearing was, what investments did you look at down the road to fund the police salaries? In a contract that Bridget said, I want to see the perspective. I want to see what you looked at as investments and how much return we've gotten on those investments. That's the first question I'd like you to ask, Chris, if you're watching.
Exactly.
If you're not watching, I'll tell you, I will contact you before the meeting because these people, all they know how to do is rob your money. And that's the reality. They never looked at anything. And like I said, I got an open invitation to those people. They can come down to the annual meeting of the retirement board when we go over our prim investments. It's a very long presentation. The book's about this thick. I got it here. It shows the previous 5 years of performance of the 100 and some investments that we have, international investments, money market investments, all kinds of investment. It's a huge investment portfolio. Shows what they've done the past 5 years, what they're doing this year, what they're projecting actuarially for the next 5 years. We know with a relative degree of certainty that these stocks can perform, are performing, And if they're not performing, what are we going to do to get something that does perform? That's what you call fiduciary responsibility. Maybe everybody in the council should go over there and sit in that meeting, because when they pass millions of dollars worth of shit and they let somebody like Bridget Almond say, oh, we're looking at investments down the road. Not one person said what investment. Name me 3. Show me their investment portfolio. Nobody. Spend the freaking money. We don't give a shit if we never get the money from the investments, because we're just going to take it from the taxpayers. Yeah. Yeah. And remember, the city council didn't let us vote on Diamond. Does anybody remember that?
Yes, I do.
Now they're going to ask you to get a debt override or something to pay for it. We didn't get to say if we wanted it or not, but now they're going to tell you we got to pay for it. So you let us take more of your money. So you know, if they ask for that, you know what my vote is going to be? Right there. All 5 fingers.
You know, they didn't give us a choice on Diamond. And the reason they didn't give us a choice on Diamond was Coogan, the school, the city council were all afraid that the voters would say no. And if the voters of Fall River had said no, that's it. It would have been no, because Westport said no. Somerset and Swansea said yes.
Isn't that
the predominance of the vote would have been no? And they had already spent the money.
And you know,
so they took Fall River off the agenda, and they said, let the city council decide. And the city council said, right there.
Yeah. No, well, Westport's now pointing a finger at us and blaming us, the people of Fall River.
No, Westport, hey, Fall River, here, right here. We're not going to pay our water bill, right here.
Yeah. And watch how quickly they put a lien on your house, right? I mean, these people are ridiculous. But what's the cure? You got to vote them out of office. I mean, this year's going to be a horror show. We're going to have plenty to talk about. Huh, Jimmy? Happy New Year. We are. You came in a little late. Yeah, CJ and I got our tax bill today, so we're not in a good mood either. And this isn't the end of it either. Wait till we deal with the water increases and it's a fiasco. I mean, listen, I have never seen in all the times, and I've seen some. I mean, look, Flanagan lost $8 million. He got recalled because of that. These people are losing tens of millions of bucks. We got a $500 million budget, and we got nothing to show for it for the people. Somebody give me something that this guy has spent our tax dollars on for our benefit in his entire 6 years, and now he's going to get another 2. I don't know. You know, all we do is get taxed. I mean, every time, you know, I drive up Eastern Avenue every day to go home. And every day I'm waiting for a tire to fall off, because you can't avoid a pothole
in Fallujah.
Yeah, it's like being in Fallujah.
Yeah.
I think Fallujah was actually better.
Hey, Jeff, looks like it's a regular occurrence. Deny the people the right to vote on Diamond. Deny the people the right to vote on debts and bonding. Hey, next thing you know, they're going to deny us the right to vote.
And remember, deny the voters over 70% of the state an audit so you can find out what crooks we are. Deny them of the crooks. But remember, I think that Fall River has to take the lead on this. I think we gave them the idea in Boston how to screw us and not give us the say with an audit, because Coogan never told you about anything.
That's it.
They looked out at Fall River and they said, look at that mayor. Look at that mayor. You ask them how much they owe in lawsuits? Fuck you. I'm not telling you. Yeah, how much do we pay actually for Durfee? Fuck you. You're not gonna. You're not gonna
know.
You don't need to know.
That's right.
Oh, no, even though the Constitution says you're answerable to all times. No, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
how about this? Let's take it one step further. How about when elected officials ask for the numbers and they say, you can't ask that question. I'm going to file a complaint against you because you're asking for proof of the numbers.
Yeah, which obviously is a fiduciary obligation.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Now the city council is just like I said. We all got our tax. Most of us got our tax bills today. You notice how efficient they are at sending out the bills, though. We can't get an answer to anything. No, no matter what you ask. How much money do you waste? Oh, why did Kenny Pacheco give that no bid contract? Oh, it's an emergency. No, why? It's not an emergency. You can get a bid. It's statutorily required to get a bid. It wasn't an emergency for the last 6 years when we got mold and we're paying these people nearly $4 million to mitigate it, and they never did, and nobody sued them for the cost of mitigation.
That's right.
But they don't give a shit. This is the problem. They don't care. We let them get away with it. And let's see what happens with the new school committee, with Colin and Kevin, and now with we have a few people there that may be rational. Riley seems she knows what it is. She should have some fiduciary savvy because she is a superintendent of schools. She understands about money, but these people just don't care because they're never held accountable.
That
goes all the way up the food chain to the State House. The State House just gave the entire state of Massachusetts a giant finger. I don't care if you
look
vote.
at what New Hampshire just did. New Hampshire just made it illegal to have sanctuary cities or be a sanctuary state. And the reason, because they're not going to have this billion-dollar fiasco that was created by Maura Healey.
Yeah, and no, you're right. And the billions of dollars we've blown on illegals.
That's right.
While we got people sleeping in the streets and stuff. I mean, listen, Michelle Wu was on. I saw something with that bozo talking about it. Now you got Mondami over there. We're going to give everybody shit for free, and they're going to destroy New York. Well, they'll all be over here on welfare after he destroys New York.
Right.
He served his purpose. And, the thing is, his handlers, James, realize he's reached his shelf life.
That's right.
They
need the money they can make off of him.
This last election proved he's reached his shelf life.
That's it.
They can't keep him anymore because at the end of this 2 years, when we get Diamond, when we get all these bills for the contracts that they signed 4 years ago that they have to pay now when it's in a third year. And they said, we're looking at investments down the road. They didn't look at it. There's no money there. Just like where's the money for the health care that we put into the fund for them? We paid. The city had it in there and they blew it. So where's the money from that investment? They blew that too. So guess who's going to get that? It's going to be Fall River and the taxpayer. People are going to lose their houses. Their tax revenues actually go down because people are going to either move out of here or they're going to foreclose on the property. Who the hell wants to pay that tax rate to live in this shithole?
Detroit.
Yeah, and they turn this into Detroit and Baltimore. Welcome to the real world. And there's no accountability. Like I said, the State House said you can't prove. Look, we're crooks. You know it. We know it. But we're not going to let you prove it because Mike Roderick said, there's branches of government. One can't audit the other. It's not the branches of government, Mike. Hate to tell you this. Who was it that said that? The people. Read the Constitution. I read it on the last show, Part 5th. It says whether judicial, executive, or legislative, all are answerable to the people. The people want the audit. We're not a branch of government. We are the government.
And that's what they all forget.
That's right. And it's up to the people of Massachusetts to rise up. Like I said, we got to reach out to these people. Tell them Fall River will do it. We did it here in Fall River. Let's do it again statewide. Let's take this to the Supreme Court of the United States. Make them do an audit on themselves, because 70% of the people, if 70% of the people in Massachusetts we all throw in $20, we'll have enough to hire any lawyer around to go to the Supreme Court of the United States and force those crooks to get an audit, and half of them will be in jail. How many, CJ, how many speakers of the House have we had indicted?
3.
Yep. People don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. The most powerful rep in the state, the Speaker of the House, we've had 3 of them found guilty and indicted. I think we had 1 senator, too. Oh, he bailed before they indicted him. Yeah, well, James, the problem with that is every solution they say is a solution ends up not being a solution, because they find a way to get around it. So what they do is, oh yeah, they'll lower the rate, but they'll increase the property value.
The property value.
More money. Oh, wait a minute. We had a $5 million cap on what we could spend in a $20 million per year. So we'll just get rid of that. So we don't want any encumbrances on us getting money. There's always an end around. Mike Rodrigues, oh, you can't audit us because one branch of government. It wasn't the branch of government. How scary is that the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee in the Senate, fundamentally the most powerful person in the state of Massachusetts, because he holds the purse strings in the Senate, which is like the House of Lords. Oh, Adam, how you doing? Happy New Year. The House of Lords doesn't know that when the people vote, it's not a branch of government. It is the government telling you what to do. And the Constitution says you're supposed to listen. And just in case, again, I'll remind you, it's in part of the first Article 5.
But I'm going to remind you, the voters wanted the sales tax and the state taxes down to 5%.
Yep.
And Mike Rodrigues and the state legislature went right there.
Yep.
They wanted an audit. Right there. They wanted to elect judges. Right there. They wanted
everything you say.
Right there. But that's what the people wanted.
And what does it say in the Declaration of Independence? Why did we declare our independence from England? Because England was doing just what our legislature does to us and our city council and our mayor and our government does to us now. It says in the Declaration of Independence, when a government, and I'm paraphrasing now, but you can look it up, when a government fails to work in the best interest of the people, and I'm paraphrasing, that government must be replaced. It's up to the voters. Our forefathers, who were brilliant people who could see that politics should not be a career, knew that they would screw this country up. Because like Jefferson said, when you make the government powerful enough to give you anything you want, it will be powerful enough to take everything you have. And that's a direct quote, because I know that one by heart. But this is what's happened here. I mean, this is outrageous. This state, and like I said, New Hampshire, you look at New Hampshire, they go, okay, we're not going to spend billions of dollars on illegals. We're not going to let any city or town declare themselves a sanctuary, anything. Then you got Wu over there campaigning for another socialist or something. Yeah. No. Yeah, well, what the hell? Being only $98,000 off, and she's the chief financial officer. That doesn't tell you just made a mistake, right? Yeah, well, political science. That's right. You know what that is? That's like a degree in how to bullshit people. You want to be a politician, be able to talk for 2 hours and say nothing, and be full of shit. That's what political science is. Oh, conundrum. Good word, James. I like that one.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
they're going to take care of it. Fall River has such an impeccable record of taking care of its property. Now, doesn't it, Chip?
What's that?
Fall River has an impeccable record of taking
Oh
care
yeah,
of its property.
that's right. They you know what they have a very simple formula. Don't do a damn thing. Pay maintenance departments in the school department in a city. Put it in ordinance that they're in charge of maintaining buildings, and just build it. Get a building. Let it go completely into disrepair, and then get the taxpayers to build a new one.
That's right.
That's what they do.
Just think about it. We still have a police station on Bedford Street, which is falling apart, but nobody wants to knock it down.
Yeah, but we don't shut up about it, Adeline.
That's right.
We don't. We'll bitch, but we can't get enough people to show up at the polls and throw these
That's right.
idiots out.
That's right. That's right. And remember, we've got the Bank Street Armory. We don't do anything with that. We're going to wait until we have to knock that down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we build a brand new Durfee High School, and we flood the freaking building. And it cost us $40,000 plus.
No accountability.
Now we're building Diamond.
Hey, did we ever find out who left the hose running?
No.
Oh, we're not going to find that out.
No, that's a personnel matter. We can't comment on personnel matters.
And what did he get? Whoever did it probably got a pay raise.
Written up.
Probably got a pay raise.
If that.
I mean, listen, this city has never been, at the peak of the efficiency pyramid. But I can tell you, this city now is just it's a total mess. Kenny Pacheco actually went in front of camera and was so happy that you were going to take any constraints off him to blow our money. And he basically said it gets in my way fundamentally. I don't want the people telling me how to spend their money. That's right, but you got to show up to vote to do that.
No, we can be like Athens.
Well, yeah, Athens. Yep, Athens, Tennessee. Yeah, we remember. We were. But listen, what baffles my mind is we had 70% of the people that are probably not happy with the way the state is being run and their communities are being run to vote for an audit of the state. But why didn't those 70% of the people throw all their reps out and all their senators out of Boston? That's the problem. Why can't we get 70% of the people in this state to clean out the state house? That's the answer.
If you could answer that question, you'd be smarter than Abraham.
Nobody can answer that question. It baffles me.
Right.
Because it's like, and that what makes it even worse. Like, they're always saying they're apathetic, they don't give a shit, they don't do this. Then they do something like this that says they actually do. They're not happy. But where were they in the election? Why didn't half of these people get bounced? 70% of the vote, you're going to win the election. Not hard to figure out. 70% of the people are not happy. If they vote like they're not happy, you're going to clean out the state house. But we didn't. Did we have anybody?
We put the same shitheads back in office.
Did anybody in the state actually win a seat in a contested election this year? CJ?
No.
I don't know of anybody that got bounced in the entire state.
No, what happened was people who won seats for the first time won seats that have been vacated because
Yeah.
people didn't run.
That's right.
And as was brought up earlier by Jeffrey, Alan Sylvia is now moving his office into Government Center. Why? Maybe he's going to pocket that rent money. Because I don't think Government Center charges Michael Rodriguez a dime for being in there.
Yeah. Remove their voicemail, huh?
Oh, I
Oh, no,
know.
that's the superintendent. Remember, she's the one that is not interested in education. She was upset because she wants a welcoming environment.
That's right. And
Welcoming environment, not a
James,
high performing school system.
According to charter, Michael Dion is no longer interim city administrator. He wanted to get out of it. That was November something. He didn't right after the election. He didn't want it. He didn't want to stay there, and he was done.
James, it's you know what, it's not insane. It's what you get when you have incompetence.
That's right.
Nobody wants to work for that incompetent boob. They've screwed the city up so badly. If you get anybody in there that knows the numbers and then talks to Coogan for 5 minutes, they're going to say, there's no way we can ever fix the problem with this freaking boob running the city because he won't let me fix it. I'm getting out of here.
Right.
Look how long the kid that was the assistant over there lasted. He went down to Cape to work. The other one went over interim. She wanted to go back to role position because she couldn't take it in there with Emily. But they said, no, you're not getting your job back. Take off, and she's gone too. They can't keep anybody. They can't keep anybody. The lunatics are running the asylum. That's the problem. The lunatics are running the asylum. Nobody wants to work at that nut house. The pressure's too good. I've talked to people who have left. Competent people. The kid that left, Cedric, was a very competent kid. He had a big, he had some credentials and he was willing to learn. He said he wanted to go up the scale in the city and everything else. He came to the retirement board meetings. He was always interested in what happened. He wanted to learn. He stayed after the meetings were over to talk about, retirement law and stuff like that to educate himself. And then he's gone because he just couldn't take it. Can't take it. It's like a fire drill in a mental institution. Everybody's running in a different direction. Nobody wants to work here. That's why we can't get anybody to work here, because if they do show up, after about a week, they're already looking for the door. I remember that other one we had, CJ. CJ's gone. You can hear me though. We had one that came in a few years ago already. It's been a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Came in, pretty bright. Came over to the retirement board meetings and stuff, the first meeting and stuff, and introduced herself. And, she had some credentials and stuff. And she seemed like she was, she might have have a little bit of idea of what the hell she was doing. By the next month, she was already saying, yeah, guys, it's really been nice coming to these meetings, but I'm already looking to get out of this place. 2 months. I think 3 months she was gone, maybe 4 months. Nobody wants to stay here. You go in there and you tell him you got to do this. You can't give that pay raise out. He's going to get, shut up. I don't care. I want to bribe all these people in the unions. Give them the pay raises they want, even though most of them live out of the city. Why don't you pull them in Eno? Why didn't you tell them, you want these pay raises? I want everybody to move back in the city. Pay taxes here. Shop here. Support the city. Never happened. Nobody wants to work here. Yeah, and that is the biggest pile of bullshit ever tried to be foisted on the public. I wish there were cameras then. It was so long ago I've been fighting this battle that it is not complex. Like you said, Newton's got a very simple budget. It tells you what they're going to do this year, what they did last year, what they had proposed last year, what they got completed, and what they didn't get completed, the reason it didn't get completed. And every number makes sense and everything is there. It's complicated it's not complicated. But I'm going to tell you a quick one. Years ago, I may still have the audio tape somewhere. It was so long ago that the city council meetings were on radio. They weren't on cable. They were on radio. And they were going to lay off 28 people in every department in the city because they said they had no money. And they printed the budget, just the face in the budget, in the Herald News, not an in-depth budget. And it was a $7 million, at the time the budget was much smaller. There was a $7 million error in the budget. More than 7.5 to be exact. So I went down to the council meeting and I said, there's $7.5 million missing in the budget. And the councilors looked at me and said, and they had the auditor and the treasurer at the desk when I was up there. And I said, there's $7.5 million. Where's the $7.5 million missing? No, there's nothing missing here. I said, yes, there is. And Dan Bogan, who was the president of the city council, said, Mr. Camara, you have no idea about the complexity of the budget of this city. He said, you don't realize how complex it is. I said, well, with all due respect, President Bogan, if I go to the market with $20 and I buy $50 worth of groceries, I know I'm short. I said, so now let me tell you where it's short. And I said, we got $7.5 million from revenue sharing from the federal government. It was split 50-50 to the police and fire. Is that correct? And the auditor and the treasurer were like, yep, yes it is. I said, okay. You gave the fire department, we'll round it off for figures, $3.5 million, right? Yep. I said, you gave the police $3 million, $3.5 million. Okay, $3.25 million. Yep. Last time I checked for it, before you gave us that $3 million, our budget was $7 million for fire and police, both $7 million, correct? Correct. What's 7 and 3? 10. I said, yeah. What's our budget? 7. Okay. Where's the $3 million? Where's the $7 million that are missing from the police and fire budget? You put in $7.5 million of federal money, and you took out $7.5 million of city money. Where is it in the budget? The budget started at $94 million, and it's still $94 million. And you said you put another $7 million in it. Last time I checked, that would push the budget to over $100 million. And you know what the answer to that was? This. Oh shit, he's right. Oh shit, he's right. They forgot to hide it somewhere. That's how stupid they are. They forgot to hide it. The next day, the Herald News came out and said, no layoffs in the city of Fall River. All the 28 firefighters, 28 police, 28 DPW, 28 school teachers, all back to work. Why? Because I can read a newspaper and add. And this is what you've had running the city forever. That is an actual happening here.
Chip, you son of a bitch. You got to talk the truth all the time. You got to text them all the time.
How complex can it be?
I know.
When you tell people you got a $94 million budget and you put $7 million in it and it's still $94 million. Well, there's $7 million missing in the budget.
That's right.
That's complex. Bogan's trying to tell me you don't understand. This is really complicated. No, it isn't. A budget is not complicated. I got $400 budget today. I can budget. I have to budget for $400. If the figure comes out to more than $400, I don't have enough money.
I want to remind you of the comments made by a mayoral candidate, Sam Sutter, who said, when I took office as mayor, I sat down and I spoke with people in city government about the budget. And they told me it's a living, breathing, expanding. Remember that?
All right.
Remember that? Expanding.
Yeah. It's a living, breathing anal sphincter. That's what it is. Okay? That's what it is. And that's where everything that comes out of the anal sphincter, that's what that was. A living, breathing bullshit. A budget is just numbers. Ask Alan Silva, not the one that's asking for prayers for his wrist. The guy that's a Harvard MBA that was the first city administrator who was a brilliant guy with numbers. Ask him if it's a living, breathing thing. He'll tell you that's absolute bullshit.
That is bullshit.
That's it. How much do you pay?
Isn't your budget a living, breathing budget? If all of a sudden you've spent $20 and you've only got 10, that's okay because you can get 10 more somewhere else, right?
That's right. All you got to do is go to my neighbor and ask him for money, right?
That's right.
But they're so full of it's incredible the crap they try to shove down people's throat and make them believe it. We really, I mean, sometimes, and I forgot about that with Sutter saying it, but that's true. But that was one of the best. That's one of the best line of BS I've ever heard in my life. It's a living, breathing document. No, it isn't. When you sit down and do your budget for the year and you go, well, how much did I spend? How much do I normally spend on heat? And you go, this is what I spent last year. This is the projected increase. I have to budget at least this. And if I want to leave a cushion in, and you got to, it's just a mathematical thing.
You're right, James.
That's right. No, you're right. The Massachusetts voters I don't know what's happened. Well, most of them left for Florida, Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina, wherever, anywhere but Massachusetts, because only the people that can't afford to move out. You're right. I mean, it's insane.
Hey, let's be real. Scott Brown, the first Republican in years, in decades, elected to the Senate out of Massachusetts. And he left. He went to New Hampshire.
Yep. And he's running in New Hampshire. Yeah.
So that tells you how bad Massachusetts is.
And Scott Brown was not the most conservative Republican.
No, he was not.
He was kind of a moderate. But look, again, it gets back to that thing I started with the show. It baffles me what's happened. How can 70% of the people say they're unhappy with the way we handle money, but not elect people who will run on a platform that they're gonna be fiduciarily responsible with our money? I just can't rationalize that in my brain. It's like, you people are all pissed off. You think they're all crooks, but you never get rid of them. And what are you, all masochists? I don't know. It's like,
for Massachusetts, the S&M state.
These people are gonna love the pain they inflict on themselves because it's crazy. Well, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. The swearing-in ceremony is gonna be
a joke. A joke.
Yeah.
You know it's a joke. I know it's a joke. It's a joke.
Well, Boomer, Happy New Year, buddy. So there's going to be a lot of buyer's remorse, I think, after this election. There's going to be a lot of buyer's remorse. But you only got the people that can blame themselves. I don't know why we didn't clean out the State House. I don't know why we didn't clean out half the council, but I guess it's got to be to the point where everybody is on the verge of losing their house. And I mean, this is good to me. It's got to be the final straw. If we get by this, when our own city tells us we can't control our spending, you know, give us a blank check. You know, and then the state says, no, you can't audit us because we don't want you to prove we're criminals. That's why they hated Doge. That's why they hated Trump. There's so much fraud and waste. Look at what's happening in Minnesota. I mean, $9 billion. And you listen to the bullshit excuses. Then they got videos of them now trucking kids in to these daycare centers that had nobody in them.
That's right.
From 2015, where they said, "Oh, we can't give you money unless you got people's names." So they showed them bringing Somalian kids in, have them walk in the door, sign their name, and then the mothers took them back out. The fathers took them back out and took them home.
Here, take this. Brought me a lot of luck with the ladies. I recommend.
Who's the odds favorite to be president of the council? Cliff Ponte.
Cliff Ponte, no question about it.
That is the word that we're getting from reliable sources.
And as a matter of fact, we're also receiving information, rumors. But as you and I both know, Chip, our rumors are pretty much on the money. Michelle Dion will be vice president of the city council.
Yeah, well, that's the rumor, Jeff. That's the rumor. The rumor is that Cliff, but I've lost all credibility with Cliff's lost all his credibility with me after this last maneuver, especially when you know one thing about it with me, I'm a pretty pragmatic guy. If you're on an opposite side and you give me a bullshit excuse and just say, look, I'm going to give you a bullshit excuse, but don't. I gotta say something. So, take it for what it's worth. I'll respect you more. But if you want to piss on my head, please don't try to convince me it's raining, because I'm not going to go for that. And when he told me that they had the right to spend the money without taking the verbiage out of the ordinance, and my response to him was, well, if that's the case, why do you have to remove it? And I never got another text. That proved to me he was trying to con me. And he was in the tank, and nobody would object. And then he came up with that horse shit about, oh, nobody can object because it was brought up before. It was not brought up for that context, was it, CJ? CJ.
Yeah, well,
I said when they said they couldn't object, that wasn't.
Yeah, that's bullshit. They never presented that before the council.
Not brought up on that motion previously.
That's right. It had never been brought up except to refer it to ordinance.
Refer it to ordinance. And that is not the same in a priority ordinance. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's a problem. He can't ruin that town. That town's loaded. It's flush. They don't care. I mean, and believe me, if he starts really pinching their pocketbook, isn't it amazing, though? When you look at the richest towns, the richest cities in Massachusetts seem to be the most fiscally astute. They don't put up with this shit in Newton. They won't put up with this shit in Cambridge. They won't put up with this shit in Westport. The average per capita income in Westport is like 2.5 times what it is in Fall River. What did they do when they brought up Diamond? Yeah, we're not paying for that. And what did Fall River do? You can't vote on it. Shut up. We're building it. That way I can give my friends jobs on a Diamond board.
That's it.
That's what they did. This is what happens. But isn't it ironic that the communities that need the money the least are the ones that really pay attention to how their money is spent?
That's right.
Budget. James mentioned it before. We've talked about Newton's budget often. It's an amazing budget. You look at it, it says, okay,
Well, one
2025.
of the things I thought was interesting, the guy running for governor, short sleeve, Republican, he said that 10 years ago or 15 years ago, New Bedford's state aid was $28 million. And New Bedford state aid today is $28 million. How come he didn't say Fall River? He was talking to the Fall River Reporter.
Because nobody cares about Fall River.
What was our state aid?
Hey, listen. Look, they got Moby Dick. We got Paul Coogan.
Yeah, that's it.
Why would anybody want to talk about
Hey.
Fall River?
New Bedford has Moby Dick. We have a big dick. That's it.
No, you're right. Kadeem Law. Look, he doesn't care. Never did care about the people of Fall River, and he's basically said it. He's also said more than once that it's his job to do this because everybody's too dumb.
Right.
Fundamentally, he didn't say that in those words, but he implied it. The intent. Don't tell me about this. I'm a town administrator. Yeah, you're a town administrator. That the average per capita income is 2.5 times, and the average household income is like 4 and a half times what it is in Fall River. And they got all kinds of businesses. You ever drive down Route 6 through Seacock? Look at all the restaurants. Look at all the freaking businesses they got. They got more businesses in that town of 15,000 than we got in Fall River. 94,000 people. But they'll can his ass too if he starts spending too much of their money. Because one thing about people in rich towns, they're very, like I said, in Newton doesn't play around. Newton says, look, you told me you're going to do A, B, C, D, and E. You come in for F, I go, F you.
That's right.
You didn't put it in a budget. You got to
right.
wait till next year. Unless it's an unforeseen emergency. You don't do what they do in Fall River. Give us a water rate, then come back in the week after the next meeting and say, we need more money than that. Give us more money.
Right. Hey, James, you're right. We were supposed to get the casino. Tiverton got it. But remember, we got Amazon. Oh, wait a minute. Johnston got Amazon. We got nothing. Johnston got everything.
Yeah, and they got...
That shows you how good Ken Fiola is on negotiating the diamond.
And what did Johnston get? They got fire apparatus. They got money.
EMS personnel, new lights, new roads,
all kinds
you
of
name it, they got it.
capital improvements from Amazon. And you know what we got?
Bupkis.
That's right. We got the MBTA.
That's right. And with the MBTA, they're saying they got 280,000 riders. I want to know where. There's not 280,000 people in Fall River. Okay, and Freetown is saying F you to the state when it comes to the zoning. Because they're not going to be an MBTA community. Were they asked? I don't remember them being asked. I don't know. They probably were. They probably were.
Okay, I just had to look it up. Johnston, Rhode Island is...
I don't know how the hell we're better for anything, Boomer, that Ken Fiola's brought us. Because everything he's brought us is...
Johnston, Rhode Island population was 30,663. Let's see, United States Census Bureau. According to the Census Bureau, the United States, which is always my go-to.
You should have this number engraved in your memory by now.
No, I don't deal with Johnson until we get into.
Johnston.
Until we start talking about how we got screwed by the great Ken Fiola.
Yeah.
And you know they got a population of like 29,000 people. We got almost 100,000, and they got a better deal than we did. And let's see what they're just for shits and giggles. Let's see what they got here. No, they don't have their per capita income listed here. I guess the town's so small they didn't have the stats for 24. But I'm sure it's very, very low, very, very. I can go to another source, but I don't like to ever deviate from my United States Census Bureau. Consistency is the mother of all uh, credibility. So, but yeah, I mean, Johnston got all kinds of stuff. And that great negotiator, Ken Fiola, but he's great for negotiating for market rate housing, but everything else he sucks at. That's why he was
Based on U.S. Census data from 2019 to 2023, the per capita income for Johnston, Rhode Island is approximately $45,447.
yeah.
Estimate places slightly higher with figures like 59,997 or even higher from different sources and time frames, reflecting an average individual income where median household incomes is significantly higher, around $87,514.
All right, so it's nearly 50% on a per capita and about 80% higher on the other one, and it's a
That's
small
right.
town, and it's a suburb, and it's not one of the richest towns. If you looked at Barrington or one of those places, you'd see. Yeah, believe me, they want to do that.
That's what they want to do here in Fall River. That's exactly what they want to do here in Fall River.
No, it's exactly what they want to do. Believe me, that'll be the
And
next thing.
Maura Healey, like you said, Maura Healey wants to get rid of Prop 2.5 altogether. So they can start charging $75 per thousand on your motor vehicles in excise tax. Rhode Island got rid of the excise tax. Why the hell do we need it?
I don't know. Rhode Island, a tiny little state, they don't need
I
excise
know.
revenue. Well, you know why? I know that was a rhetorical question, CJ, but this is why. Maura Healey, Michelle Wu, and all the socialists that say you're going to get everything for free. It's
That's
not
right.
for free. You're going to bankrupt everybody that doesn't actually have a dime to give it to the illegals, and that you don't care because you're all loaded. And this is the shame of it all.
I guess it was for you people who keep saying we should stay on local politics. I guess it wasn't that hard for us to stay on local politics today. I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. It's going to freeze out there this weekend, and your ass is the first on the line. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.